In the first reading, Standing note that Precariat is the emerging class characterized by the chronic insecurity, detached from the old norm of the labor and working class. Standing carefully explained that the precariat is not the part of working class or the proletariat, which tended to enjoy long-term, stable, fixed-hour job with established route of advancement and a collective voice in the labor market through the trade union. Precariat is also different from the middle class because they do not have the stable or predictable salary, occupational identity, as well as social benefit that middle class people are supposed to possess. So by making these differentiation, Standings view the precariat as the people who lack multiple forms of labor-related security, including but not limited to the employment securities. So based upon his discussion, so here I'd like to propose our working definition of precariat as the workers consigned to unstable form of employment with no job security, low wages, limited social benefit and statutory entitlement, high risk of ill health, and the absence of collective protection. Yet, standing note, however we define, precariat is not homogeneous. While suggesting the variety of precariat, Standing also identify its 10 defining characteristics in our first required reading. So here, due to the limit of time, let's focus on the three class-based dimensions that diverse group of precariat all share. The precariat. First, precariat has distinctive relations of production, in which its members have insecure labor, being in and out of job without long-term employment contract. Such relations of production force them to be habituated to the life of unstable labor and unstable living. Second, precariat has distinctive relations of distribution in which they rely almost solely on the money income from wages without both enterprise and rights-based state benefit. Since the wage of precariat is flexible, they have chronic income insecurity and economic uncertainty. Third, precariat has distinctive relations to the state, which has which have their civil, cultural, political, social, and economic rights eroded. As standing note, this is the first time in the human history when growing number of the people have been losing their previously acquired rights. These three class-based aspects feed into what Standing called 4A's: anger, anomie, anxiety, and alienation that precariat experiences. According to the Standing, despite these distinctive characteristics and consciousness that precariat share, they are still class in making in the Marxist sense because of their lack of coherent interest, common identity, and or even common enemy. As standing further state, although we cannot give anything like a precise figures, we may guess that at the present, in many countries, at least a quarter of adult population is in the precariat. So with this in mind, in his 2011 book, Standing specifically addressed the question, why is precariat growing? So here, let me point out the main factors highlighted in his discussion, which have promoted the rapid growth of precariat in the global north. Standing consider the creation of global market economy since late 1970s, based upon the neoliberal ideals of competitiveness and individualism as a primary factor in the growth of precariat. Commitment to the open market economy imposed competitive pressure on the industrialized country. From emerging economy with seemingly unlimited supply of low-cost labor, such as China and India. In this context, one claim made by the neoliberal thinkers was that these developed countries needed to pursue labor market flexibility. In neoliberal logic, unless labor market were made more flexible, labor costs would rise, and a corporation would transfer their production and investment to the place in which costs were lower. So here the key question is, what does flexibility in the labor market means? Standing points out three main forms of the flexibility that has accelerated the growth of precariat. The first is a numerical flexibility, which allow firms to change employment and fire workers through the growing use of temporary labor. The second one is the job flexibility, which make it possible for firms to change the division of labor quickly without cost, and then to shift the workers between the tasks, position, and workplaces. Third one is the wage flexibilities, which speeding up the adjustment to the change in the demand through reducing the wage levels for the most of the workers, as well as their income security. So that is to say, the flexibility advocated by the neoliberals has systematically made workers more insecure in the labor market. In other words, as Standing puts it, the flexible labor market has shifted the risk and insecurity onto the workers and their families. The vulnerability of these workers under the condition of highly competitive and fluctuating global market economy has been intensified by the reduction of state welfare programs, which we discuss as one of the main principles within the neoliberal policy strategy in the week 3. Thus, as state and corporation have compete each other in advancing the labor market flexibility, number of the people in the insecure form of employment has rapidly increased. So in this respect, Standing underlines that neoliberal pursuit of flexible labor practices has been the major direct cause of global growth of precariat. So now, with this discussion in mind, Let's turn our attention to the specific context of contemporary Japan in order to illustrate the growth of precariat in the global north.